gossip. They have they have channel and spaces for that. The thing about it is when it leaks out into society and when you put yourself in a position to influence people, the influence must be positive. I don't make these things up, you know. The inspector, who I won't even call his name, who somebody erroneously tried to say is the anonymous blogger, was the JCF was at pains to say, listen, our guy is not this guy. Be careful because we know he's a danger to society and we don't want our guy to get hurt. So it shows how the importance of art, the importance of entertainment has gone into the realm of reality where persons are now experiencing how serious a situation can be. Now, what are you saying? Man can't chat and in a sus. That's not how sus spell, but of course, men can chat, and of course, men can be in sus. The freedom of expression is important, and if you want to be a mama man, you have the right to be a mama man. Nobody's stopping a man from being a mama man. There's spaces so that you can go on TikTok, you can go anywhere, you can be anything that you want to be. I'm differentiating between substance and differentiating between the lady whistle down syndrome that so many people have. That is something that people have to understand. And we can talk. I mean, it's a conversation, you know. People are free to disagree. I am just showing something because one thing I can tell you, I take it from a lawyer who went to law school, graduated with first class honors, and no work for nobody, actually doing the law. Why am I saying all of this? So when I speak about law, it's because I have the education to back it. So when somebody say I chat too much, but then you're somebody who barely can read and write, but you are suddenly doing social commentary as if you are Deion Jackson Miller, it is completely laughable. And when you mislead people who are also in the same category with you, but want to learn, you're doing a great disservice to your country. And this is the conversation that we're having because sometimes when it is that people have influence, when you are given a platform and you have the influence, nobody expects you to then bring society into disrepute. I'm even going to talk about how people are supposed to bring this profession, but your society, you turn your society upside down and you tamper with the arms of justice because you then inject poison and contribute to the decadence, the decay of society because of your nonsense. I'm saying it as it is, you know. So you're free to say I chat too much, and you're free to defame to defame somebody's character. You're free to put all wrong information. It's just that, you know, the sad thing about it is it's a waste of judicial time to attempt to sue a girl of straw. Mind you, I've already posited that I'm almost convinced that Lady Whistledown and the anonymous bloggers, they all have vaginas. And until you show yourself, you're just a vagina carrying anonymous person. Anyway, so of importance is to look at that and say, what damage am I doing to my society? Because publicity, trial publicity, especially when you're doing social commentary on matters that are before the court, that deals with constitutional rights that affect the presumption of innocence, and because your inability to navigate that has caused persons and their family hardship, pain, suffering, and then people can't sue you because you don't have no money and you're not a socialite You're not connected to people with money, so nobody needs to bring you down. But in terms of what you do to the rest of society who is trying to be better, is to cause anarchy, cause chaos. All of these things are true. So what is the crisis behind this? Well, um, people believe that the fair trial right, which is called due process, deals with three arms. It is a fair hearing in a reasonable time by an independent and impartial jury. So then, which aspect of it could anonymous blogger or and remember, it's not just anyone, because we know some of you are vlogging and blogging, but your existence is insignificant. So we could never be talking about you. So don't be little bit enough. Like, we're being for real now. But when you have made a name for yourself, when you have become an icon in the social society that nobody can deny you. So it may, oh, no. I'm gonna just ignore some of those comments. The people who are failed musicians that find themselves being mumalashi on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and trying, finding themselves to be significant. We're not talking about them. You can talk to your government and get your national award so you can feel like you're somebody. You'll still be a nobody. We're not talking about those. We're talking about people who actually is important and people who Jamaica needs. And I've said this, I've been on another platform and I said, Jamaica needs Sir I'm never going to take that back. I give people the credit they deserve when they make a name for themselves, and people have to run behind them because they add value. So this is not, we don't be inserting people who are insignificant. We're not talking about them. We leave Pastor Jennings or same name for the insignificant people. It's simple. But anyway, we have to now think about how it affects people and rights, because the Constitution is the done of all dons. The Constitution is the Constitution is the bedrock of the society. And I'm talking about the Jamaican Constitution, the written Constitution, specifically the Charter of Rights. The irony is how powerful the Constitution is and why there is a push to change it with the hope of minimizing possibly the rights, because it makes a class system not functioning, because the least among us deserves the rights and it applies to them as well. That's just the reality. But when we balance publicity, let me just make something clear. I don't want nobody to think that publicity is a bad thing. In fact, for me, all publicity is good publicity. Certainly for on behalf of myself and those who I know. If you're talking about me, whether good or bad, the fact that you have to talk about me, people don't stone green mango. So you make the best of it. If you have to talk about me, you're doing the work that you were sent here on earth to do, to make sure that I remain significant. That's how publicity work. So this is not a conversation that publicity is bad. Even trial publicity isn't bad, because the public has a right to know. The open justice concept is a beautiful concept. In fact, I love open justice so much that the opportunity to present before the highest court not in the land, but of the land, Apex Court, the Privy Council, and it was televised for the world to see. So you didn't need an anonymous blogger or a insignificant blogger or those or vloggers or those YouTubers who can barely speak English language to tell you what take place or try to reread a glean an article from a reporter who possibly don't know the intricacies of the law and is trying to bring it to you, and then you get your information at some third, fourth rate quality that you don't have. And sometimes it's good to see it. So the open justice concept, if I had my way, every courtroom would have cameras in there, and you would see what happens. So families who hire lawyers who can't go to court could just click and the court would be going live and you would see what's happening with your loved ones and the lawyers that you pick, how they conduct themselves, and you make a decision or you know whether you spent your money or whether you did beg or whatever for this person, however it works. So open justice is necessary. If you don't believe me, certainly our court of appeal has they had a media room for a particular case. In the past, our Chief Justice, Justice Sykes, would have made sure he streamed his decisions. Recently, in a very, very popular case, the full court, they streamlined the decision when they made determinations of the Constitution, and a popular Jamaican person was ousted out of office and supposedly is appealing, those kind of things. And so people knew and heard the in real time what was happening. But even so, open justice is so important that the many cases, if you are around in the 90s, OJ Simpson, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit, and all of the theatrics when Johnny Cochran, tell him try on the gloves and the gloves never fit, but them even after that, them still say OJ Simpson was guilty, and then he had whatever. But Bill Cosby, the weirdest one of all was Johnny Depp and his woman, and it turned out that however it was, she was beating him, but he's a Pirates of the Caribbean, so him juke her with him sword, and then it turned out them was just there was just some white people that was just beating up on each other, and then that was it. But the idea of the open justice is that people want to know, and if it's exciting and if it come with a lot of passa and drama, and you get your dose of whatever comes with those things, then that's exactly how people expect the open justice to be. There are many other cases that I could tell you about. There's one in South Africa. It was actually raised, the Oscar Pistorius, which is the athletic man with the fake foot. I would not call him a handicap or a special needs person because he was an Olympic star and he was anything but a disabled person. Ironically, it was raised in a particular case. I don't know why, because he was tried by a judge alone. When one checks it, he was eventually found guilty of manslaughter, and then the prosecutor appealed it, and then the court of appeal was like, no, you murdered the woman. And even if you never want to murder the woman, you did want to murder somebody, and it was a high-powered rifle. And we don't care if you have any disabilities, but it was murder, and they gave him 15 years or something like that. But anyway, publicity. If you don't know that case, it was there. There was a case also with the Alawalia. It was a huge case. This woman had battered woman syndrome. We know that women can't be provoked because them gal are wicked, them wicked, them wicked. Women are so calculating that they'll cook your dinner, poison you, and then burn you up in the bed just for cheating on them. But they're not just fight you, so they don't not provoked. So you'll beat them for 14 years and they stay, but then you cheat on them. Was like, no, you beat me, but cheat on me? No, that's a no. And then they get back at you at the end of it. But put it in context. women are more calculating, and that was a huge case. If you don't, if you want to know crazy, try the Menendez brothers. These are privileged kids with who tried to raise the defense of affluenza, and the Menendez brothers killed their parents. And if you think that was nothing, even after them get found guilty, you had some women that wanted to get married to them, and they did that. I think they got married, and them love life better than anyway. Leaving that alone, these are popular cases. If you remember who George Zimmerman, is it Zimmerman? He killed the Trayvon Martin, popular. Then there's the girl who killed our daughter, but she gets away with it because she had a good lawyer. However, whatever you want to say, but these cases were televised and jurors were found and all of that. So we're probably, we're not even going to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer. We're not going to talk about the serial killers because these publicity, and we know how these things are. But pre-trial publicity is on the basis that, guess what? Information is reported live. We get the facts and we know it. Even in Jamaican space, right now, you have a case with the man that shoot him wife, or allegedly shoot him wife in the vagina. We have a case where a baby mother there with a politician and here say have another baby mother and choose she want fear or whatever, and then them say she kill and all of that. But I don't want to sound like an anonymous blogger because my face can't hide and my forehead big and my headline receding and my chat too much. So we're not gonna get into all of that. Savan says that however you get the information, it may not be as accurate and it may not be in accord with the evidence before the court, because you have another case where they must have said the man killed the girl and the girl pretty, but then him put it in a one couch and then the couch gone somewhere but no blood no in the couch and this and that, and now we hear it and then we hear says something in our X6 and then kill the person and we never know say X. That's why you don't buy BMW, buy Benz, because Benz don't kill people, X6 do. Anyway, I don't know, but the point I'm making, but you hear them affluent conversations. It's only socialites can talk like that. But anyway, all of these things are in the public space, and however it turns out, is there are safeguards within the judicial system to ensure that the publicity, whether it be pre-trial, whether it be post-trial, that it doesn't affect the outcome of the trial. Somebody said my aunt says chat can never too much, just like food, especially if it's KFC. I like your aunt. Tell her send me a 6-piece. Look, like Loxley says, my BMW doesn't kill people, not the BMW, maybe you. But anyway, let me stop. So what I'm getting at is to say, when it comes to trial, pre-trial, trial publicity, where does the line in the sand? Where does Humpty Dumpty fall off the wall? Where do we pull the caution tape? Where do we say that this publicity now affects? Because in England, there's a famous case called F&D. Here's why I'm telling you about this case. Two young girls, 13 and 14, they go into a lady's flat. I'm not gonna say her name. I don't wanna traumatize, because there are people in the world who are easily traumatized when you remind them of stuff. And they went into her flat and they drink with her and then they murder her, they bludgeon her to death and they kill her. And then the publicity was overwhelming, and these were two young white girls who white people don't commit murder, especially girls, especially white women. And so little white girls who are supposed to be playing with Barbies and Kens and things like that, and having dreams of one day becoming a fashion model and suffer from anorexia, and they wouldn't be killing people. And then what happens? They kill this woman. The woman, whatever the situation with, and they stop the trial in England because the publicity was out of hand, and the judge and everybody decided that they could not have gotten a fair trial. The media was pissed, And BB says, that is outrageous. We want to report it and we're suing. And they went and they said they sued and there was a lawsuit that they should be allowed to report because this thing that happens in London, in England, should never happen. How could two white girls do this? We should report their names. And then the judge was like, no, not happening. And so they lost and they couldn't report their names. And the girls got an injunction and their names were not reported. And about 2 years passed and they have the trial. They were found guilty. And then BBC was like, yeah, as soon as they turn 18, we're going to report their name. And then they got an injunction and they have a lifetime injunction and their names are never going to be reported. You'll never know who those two white girls were who killed the woman. You'll never know because the